Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm an aircraft engineer, and in this series we'll break down aircraft systems in a clear and practical way. From all the main systems, step by step, how they work and why they matter. So if you're a student, technician, or aviation enthusiast, you're in the right. Please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon for notifications. Your support really helps the channel grow. Let's get started.
All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on modern airliners and follow the incredible journey of a single command, from the moment a pilot touches the controls all the way to a huge surface moving on the wing. So here's a question for you. When you see a pilot move that little side stick in the cockpit, are they really flying the plane? I mean, we all imagine there's a direct connection, right? Like pulling on the reins of a horse. But on most modern jets, that's not how it works at all. Welcome to the world of fly-by-wire. And this is where you can really see the difference. The old way, a super complex system of actual cables, pulleys, and rods. A direct physical link. But with fly-by-wire, it's a whole new ballgame. The pilot isn't so much commanding the plane as they are requesting an outcome. They move the stick, that sends an electrical signal, and then a whole bank of powerful computers figures out the safest, most efficient way to make that happen. Okay, so let's trace this journey right from the very beginning. It all starts with a pilot's physical input. How do they actually tell this incredibly complex machine what to do? Well, it really all boils down to three basic movements. You've got pitch, which is the nose going up or down. That's controlled by pushing the stick forward or back. Then there's roll, tilting the wings left or right, which you get by moving the stick side to side. And finally, you have yaw, which is the nose swinging left or right, and that's handled by the rudder pedals. Each one of these simple movements creates a unique digital signal, and that's what kicks off this whole amazing process. So once that electrical signal leaves the cockpit, it heads straight into the aircraft's central nervous system. This is a whole network of computers, and they're all designed with one single overriding principle: absolute, total safety. First, that command gets processed by one of two main computers. These are the ELACs, which stands for Elevator Aileron Computers. And just like the name says, their main job is handling pitch and roll. But they're not working alone, not by a long shot. They are backed up by three more computers of a completely different type, the SECs, or Spoiler Elevator Computers. They can also handle pitch, but their primary role is managing the spoilers on the wings. So if you're keeping track, that's 2 ELACs and 3 SECs. We already have 5 different computers that can fly the plane. Now, this is the really brilliant part. It's not just that there are backups, it's that the backups are different. This idea is called dissimilarity. The ELACs and SECs are built on purpose with different hardware, different processors, and different software. Why? To prevent some single hidden bug from taking out the whole system. It's an incredible layer of protection. And to round out this team of digital brains, you have the Flight Augmentation Computers, or FACS. There are 2 of these, and they are the specialists. They handle all the complex math for the rudder, managing everything from coordinating smooth turns to making sure the rudder doesn't move too much at high speeds, which could put stress on the plane. Okay, so the pilot has made a request, and the computers have processed it. But how does a tiny, low-voltage electrical signal actually move a massive, heavy control surface against the force of winds that are basically hurricane strength? Let's walk through it. The pilot makes the input. The computers process it. Then they send a tiny electrical signal out to a servo control unit on the wing. You can think of this servo as a super smart valve. It opens just the right amount to direct immense hydraulic pressure into an actuator. And that actuator? That's the muscle. It's what physically moves the control surface with unbelievable force and precision. It's a perfect digital to physical handshake. But here's the thing. The computers are doing way more than just following orders. They operate under a strict set of rules, or laws, that act like an intelligent safety net. They're constantly protecting the aircraft from ever exceeding its physical limits. There are basically 3 modes. Most of the time, you're in normal law. Here, the computers give you the full protective bubble. They literally won't let a pilot stall the plane, or overstress it, or fly too fast. If some systems begin to fail, the plane might downgrade to alternate law, where some of those protections disappear. And in a really rare scenario with multiple failures, it goes into direct law. Now the side stick has a much more direct link to the controls, and all those safety nets are gone. It's all on the pilots to keep the plane inside its safe operating limits. And this is the part you really have to appreciate. In everyday flight, under normal law, the system is actively designed to prevent the plane from getting into a dangerous spot. The computers are literally programmed to say no if a pilot's request would put the aircraft's safety at risk. You just can't override it. So if we zoom out and look at the whole picture, you start to see it. This entire system isn't just built to work perfectly, it's built to fail safely, with an absolutely incredible number of overlapping layers of protection. I mean, the redundancy is just everywhere. You've got multiple dissimilar computers. You have 3 totally independent hydraulic systems, the green, the yellow, and the blue. So a leak in one doesn't affect the others at all. You have redundant electrical systems. And even after all of that digital and hydraulic backup, you still have old-school mechanical backups for the most critical controls. And this right here is the ultimate fail-safe. Think about this. Even in a catastrophic scenario, total loss of all electrical power, where all those computers go dark, the pilot can still steer the plane. The rudder pedals are connected to a direct hydromechanical linkage. They can still fly. This really is the whole design philosophy in a nutshell. A web of redundancy built to handle pretty much any failure you can imagine. Every critical system has a backup, and in almost every case, that backup has a backup of its own. You know, all of this incredible automation and protection leads to a really fascinating question. In a cockpit where the computer can fly the plane with so much precision and so many safety nets, what does that mean for the pilot? It really suggests their job is changing, from being a hands-on operator to more of a strategic systems manager, always ready to step in when the truly unexpected happens. Something to think about the next time you're in the air.
If you found this helpful, please click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you won't miss the next lesson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.